Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on December 11th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 18, 42, 53, 62, and 66. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 18 was blue, the 42 was red, the 53 was red, the 62 was green, and the 66 was orange. So I'm going to color these in. So again, the 18 was blue, the 42 and 53 were red, the 62 was green, and the 66 was orange. So now I'm going to count how many colors I got. So I got 2 red, a blue, a green, and an orange for 4 colors total. So up here I'm going to make this 395 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 139 times. Okay, so what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. You can see that this has come up 207 times out of 395 drawings. Okay, so if you do some quick math, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. So my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So basically what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided them by 5 colors, which is 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. So again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers, and the reason why this is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to start in with the 18, the 42, the 53, 62, and 66. The next line down is the 8, 27, 44, 51, and 61. And the last line is the 15, 35, 42, which is already taken, the 63, and 68. So again, I'm going to make these red. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here I got 3, and 3 are 5, 5 is 10, 1 is 11, and 3 are 14. So up here I'm going to leave this alone at 14. Up here it tells me of how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange, I'm going to start with the 15, and you can see that's already taken. So I'll move to the 26, and then the 37. 53 is already taken, so 55. The next line down is the 28. 35 is already taken, so 38. 61 is taken, and 66 is taken. So the next line down is the 7. The 15 is taken, so the 39, 40, and 57. And the last line is the 14, 22, 26 is taken, 55 is taken, and 63 is taken. So I'm going to make these orange, and now I'm going to count how many I got. So over here I got 3 and 2 are 5, 5 are 10, and 1 is 11. So again, I'm going to make this 11. So I think you understand how I came up with the colors for my game card here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll to the right just to speed things up. And you can see that I had 14 red numbers, 11 orange. Turned out that I had 16 green, 17 blue, and 11 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. Okay, so again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. So the strategy here is try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. So I want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 13 times out of 395 drawings. So it comes up, but it's very rare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group I don't think is going to come up. And to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of this and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so I kind of use these 50-50 picks as kind of like a roadmap to what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this 436 drawings I kept track of so far. And basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the game card to find out what colors came, what numbers came up. So I got even, even, odd, even, even. So I had 1 odd number and 4 evens. So I'm going to highlight the majority, which is evens. And now I'm going to make this 207. Okay, so out of 436 drawings, 229 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers, and 207 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so what I do here is I like to break things down just so it shows me the majority. So I like to break it down into 5 drawings. Okay, so you can see out of this 5 drawings, the majority is odd numbers, 4 drawings to 1. Okay, so I do this to help me make a decision on what's going to come up in the next drawing. Okay, so for me, I'm going to go with even numbers. And what I mean by that is, you know, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result. So again, for me, I'm going to go with more even numbers than odds. So I'm just going to write that down to remind myself what I picked. So the next one I'm going to go to is this high and low. So all the numbers in red are considered high. All the ones in blue are considered low. And you can see with the last 6 drawings, it's been to the high side. So more numbers to this red area have been coming up. So I'm going to predict that there's going to be more low numbers than high. So when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking to this red area to eliminate numbers. Okay, so again, I'm going to write this down that I think more low numbers than high. So moving on to the next one, this is left and right. And looking at this, I decided that I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Okay, I don't have a good gut feeling on on this left and right at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this alone. I don't have to pick at all of them. Okay, so the last one that I have is this red and blue area, and you can see that the red is so far in front, 239 drawings to 197. So what I'm going to do is, looking at this, how the red has been so far in front, I'm going to predict that there's going to be Actually, I'm going to predict that the red is still going to keep on going here. Okay, so I'm going to predict that more numbers are going to be in this red area than the blue. So I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, so now I'm going to make that prediction on what color group I don't think is going to come up. Okay, so besides the 50-50 picks, I'm going to look at the history of the colors that have come up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that no orange numbers are going to come up. Mainly because an orange number has come up in the last 9 drawings. And I'm just hoping that it's not going to go 10 where there's no orange numbers here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is also, I think let's scratch that. So I'm going to eliminate or block out these numbers here. So when I block out numbers like this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these orange numbers will come up in the next drawing. So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these orange numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. So basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Of course, this is the only group with 9 numbers, where the other 6 have 10 for 69 numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this here. So here's the winning numbers from the last drawing. You can see it was the 18, 42, 53, 62, 66. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this plane until I find the 18. And now I'm going to make this square blue. I'm making it blue because the 18 is blue. Okay, and now the 18 is blue because the color code said it was blue. Okay, so another thing I want to point out, that this 4 means that these winning Powerball numbers hit 4 out of the 7 groups. So that means 3 groups did not come up in the last drawing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. And I'll show you how to read this here. So this big square right here, this is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so again, I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority. But here I break it down for a couple of different reasons. Here it's definitely easier to go back in history, going 5, 10, 15, 20 and so on. Okay, but my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa. Okay, so that's what I look for. So again, there's 7 of these groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so again, we're all going to look at this differently. So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that no 60 numbers are going to come up. Now the reason why is because the 60 numbers have been really hot. You can see that out of this 5 drawings, there's been 5 numbers that came up, and then in this 5 there's been 5 numbers, and in this, you know, there's been 6. So it's been really hot through here. So I'm just kind of hoping that it's going to cool down a little bit. And I'm going to say no 60 numbers are going to come up. So I'm going to eliminate those 60 numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. I'm going to go back to my game card. I'm going to find the 60 numbers. So the 66 is right here, the 67, the 65, the 69, the 68, the 60, and the 61, 2, 3, and 4. So I'll get rid of these. And again, hopefully none of these 60 numbers come up because I just eliminated them. Okay, so how this works, okay, is the theory is that if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be still here on my game card as a highlighted number. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so what I did is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different color groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so in this last drawing, there was one in the red area, the 18. There was one in the blue, the 66. There was one in the orange, the 42. And there were 2 in the green, the 53 and 62. Okay, so when all 4 color groups get represented, I call this a row. Okay, so if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot, and if there's a miss like down here, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so 2 drawings ago, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these red numbers were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so what I did is I created 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on where these zeros are going to be. Okay, so again, the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so to help me make a decision, I made a group 1 overview. Okay, so what this means is, again, I have 15 of these option cards. So if there's 5 or more zeros among a certain color like this orange, then I color the background blue for cold. If there's 4 or less zeros among all 15 option cards, then I color the background red for hot, just to give me some separation. Okay, so if I can correctly guess where one of these blue marks are going to pop up, then that's the area that I want to concentrate on, where I think the zeros are going to be. Okay, so for this drawing here, my gut feeling says that it's going to be in the orange. Okay, so I'm going to look at the orange areas for where I want to pick where I think the zeros are going to be. Okay, so my first pick is going to be option card number 4, no orange numbers. I'm hoping the zero is going to be right here, which I'm hoping that none of these orange numbers will come up. So it's this pattern of this 4 squares right here and all 4 big squares. So I'm going to go back to the game card and eliminate all these orange areas. So I'm going to take away this 25 as well, and I'll go over that in a second, along with the 53 and the 58. Okay, so as you look at this, as you look at my game card, you can see that I have 5 numbers over here to the left side, and as I go back to this group 1, there's no numbers over here to the left side. Okay, so what I really wanted was this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, but that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 in a lottery. Okay, so what I decided to do was pair a couple of these squares up. So the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, the 53 and the 69, and the 58 and the 68. Okay, so if I get rid of all these orange numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 58 and the 68 along with all these other orange numbers as a group. Okay, so this is my way of grouping up numbers. Okay, so again, I'm hoping that no of these orange numbers here on option card number 4 are going to come up, so I just got rid of them. Okay, so my next one that I'm going to pick is option card number 5. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is you can see that a 1 comes up a lot. So if there's a 0 here, then I had to run a 1. Okay, and that's basically how this works. Okay, so again, you can see there's a 1 over here, and for some reason a 1 comes up a lot. So here in this orange, a 1 hasn't come up in a long time. It's been way down here, okay? So I'm predicting that I think it's going to come up. I think it's due to come up. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be here. So that means I don't think that any of these orange numbers in option card number 5 are going to come up. So I'm going to eliminate them off of my game card. So you can see it's the pattern of the 5, 6, 15, 16 all the way down. So that's what I'm going to get rid of. And that's it. So again, hopefully those numbers do not come up because I just got rid of them. Okay, so if I made all the correct picks so far and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers still have to be on my game card here. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next strategy. Strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so maybe you heard the saying divide and conquer. Okay, so this is just another way of looking at groups of numbers. All right, except with this one, I know that there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers and there's 8 different color groups here. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this. Okay, so in the last drawing the 18 came up, so the 18's in blue, the 42 is in blue, the 53 is in purple, the 62 is in brown, and the 66 is in yellow. Okay, so again, I'm going to update this. So I got 2 blue, 1 purple, 1 brown, 1 yellow. So down here is current. So I had no winning Powerball numbers in the red area. I had 2 in the blue, the 1842. No winning Powerball numbers in the orange. No winning Powerball numbers in the green. I had 1 in the purple, that 53. 1 in the brown, that's 62. No winning Powerball numbers in the gray, and 1 in the yellow, that's 66. Okay, so over here I count how many color groups came up. So I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the majority of the numbers are over here to the right side, so I'm gonna color this for green. Okay, so if the majority of the numbers were over here to the left, I would be coloring this for red. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to predict where that 0 is going to be. Okay, so for me, I'm going to go with this gray right here. And the reason why is because I came up with a group 2 overview as well. So let me go over that. And this is it right here. Okay, so what this means is out of all 15 option cards, this represents all the red areas. Okay, so in the last drawing, out of the 15 option cards, 9 option cards had a hit to it, and 6 of those option cards had a miss to it in the red areas. Okay, so again, it's the same thing. I look at the majority. I see what the majority was, the winner. Okay, the winner was red. Okay, so that means that there was more hits than misses. Okay, so I want to predict where the blue area is going to be. Okay, so I think it's going to be here in this red. I'm expecting a lot of misses in the red area. I'm expecting a lot of misses in the green area. And I'm expecting a lot of misses in the gray area. Okay, so red, green, and gray is what I'm going to focus on. Okay, so as I go back to this group 2, the first thing that I'm going to pick is no gray numbers. I think the 0 is going to be right here, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these gray numbers, and that runs from the 7 down to the 63. So as I go back to my game card, I'm going to eliminate the 23. Okay, so as you look at this and you see this red marks and the blue, so let me explain that for a second here, okay? So again, I like to break things down into 5. So here out of the first 5 drawings, you can see the majority was misses, 3 drawings to 2, okay? So again, the majority was misses, so I colored the background blue for cold. The next 5, you can see the majority was hits, so I colored the background red for hot, just to give me some separation, okay? So what I do is I look for something like this where it's been really, really hot. Well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So I created this to give myself some kind of information to make a decision on where I think that 0 is going to be, okay? So moving on to option card number 2, I decided to go with yellow. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to get rid of the yellow numbers. So it runs from the 57 to the 64. And I'm going to get rid of the 59. So hopefully that 59 does not come up. So moving on to option card 3. I'm going to go with gray again. So here's the gray. And as I scroll down, you can see that things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'll get rid of these gray numbers. And that runs from the 6 to the 30 and the 35 to the 59. So I'll get rid of the 35, 43, 51. And again, hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to number 4, I'm going to go with gray again. So scrolling down through, you can see that things were really, really hot through here. So I'm hoping there's going to be a long blue streak coming up here in this gray. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And the gray numbers are the 17 to the 20 and the 69 to the 56. So I'll get rid of the 19 and 20 because the 19 shares the square with the 67. And I'll get rid of the 56 as well. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to 5. I decided to go with brown. So as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot through here. In fact, it's gone on a 12 drawing streak here. So I'm hoping that it ends with 13 with a 0 right here. And I'm going to get rid of the brown numbers. And you can see the pattern for the brown. So I'm going to get rid of the 8 because it shares the square with the 66. And that's the only one to get rid of. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so moving on to number 6. I decided to go with red. So here's the red. And you can see how hot this has been here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that's the 3, 12, 19, 28 pattern all the way down. And you, oops. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's the 3, 12, 19, 28. So I'll get rid of the 3, 12, and 44. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to 7. I'm going to go with green. So here's the green. And as I scroll down, you can see how hot things have been here in this green area. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And this runs from the 48, 68, 51, 60 all the way across. And there's something to get rid of here. So I just want to point something out here that, you know, let's just say that I got this correct. Let's just say that I picked green. There was nothing to get rid of. I got it correct. So now I come back to this option card number 7 again, and I'm looking at something else, okay? Now again, let's just say that I got this correct. So if I come back to this option card 7 and I pick another one here, the odds go way up that I'm gonna get it wrong, especially if I already got this green one correct. Okay, so how I design this, or I'm getting ahead of myself here. What I'm trying to say here is that on average for all 15 option cards, 4 of these colored groups are going to have a miss to it, and 4 of these colored groups are going to have a hit to it on average. Okay, so if I pick this green, there's nothing to get rid of. I don't want to come back to this option card number 7 and pick another one. Okay, so I designed this to move on to number 8, where I have that 50-50 guess again. Okay, so here with option card number 8, I'm going to go with red. I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here, and you can see how hot this red has been. So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, and that's the 5, 16, 21, 31, all the way down. And there's nothing to get rid of, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Option card number 9, where I went with red again. So scrolling down through, you can see that things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, and that's the pattern of 128 on the left side, 1522 on the right side. So I'll get rid of the 1, I'll get rid of the 33, and that's it. So hopefully the 1 and 33 will not come up. So moving on to number 10, I'm going to go with blue. So here's the blue. And as I scroll down, you can see that things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers. Now it's the same pattern, the 267 in all 4 squares. So I'll get rid of the 2 and the 42. And again, hopefully those numbers will not come up. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the 46 as well. I'm sorry. Let's see here. I don't know why I'm getting rid of the 42. Sorry about that, folks. I already eliminated it in practice here, so I'm going to keep that off the board and keep with my notes. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to go with option card 11. No red numbers. Okay, so here's the red, and as I scroll down through, you can see that things got really hot here, so I'm going to put the 0 right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that's the 614, 1765, 3543, 5664. And you can see that there's no numbers to get rid of. So moving on to option card 12, I'm going to go with gray again. So here's the gray. I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers, which run from the 2 to the 26, 38 to the 62. So I'll get rid of the 9, and I'll get rid of the 45. So again, hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to option card 13, I'm going to go with gray again. So as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got really hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. Plus it's on a 10 winning streak here. Okay, 10 drawing winning streak. Okay, so again, I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here, so I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers, and that runs from the 5 to the 66 and the 33 to the 36. Okay, so I would be getting rid of this 42 right now and the 36. So moving on to 14, I decided to go with gray again. So here's the gray. Now you can see how hot things have been here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers, which is the 8, 12, 24, 28, and the 37, 41, 69, 57. So I'm going to get rid of the 24 and the 41. So again, hopefully those numbers do not come up. And the last one that I have, I'm going to go with blue. So here's the blue. And as I start off, you can see how hot things have been here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, which run from the 4 to the 65 and the 40 to the 61. So I'll get rid of the 4 and the 11. And that will bring me down to 5 numbers. Okay, so the numbers I'm going to go with are the 10, 13, 27, 34, 52. Okay, so let me just highlight these. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 10, 13, 27, 34, 52. Okay, so here, again, I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd, and you can see that the 10, 34, 52 will make that happen. Okay, I thought more numbers to the low area, and you can see the 10, 13, 27 will make that happen. And I kind of had a funny feeling that it might be red, but it turned out to be more numbers in this blue area. So I'm going to go with that. Okay, so again, I'm going to go with these numbers, the 10, 13, 27, 34, 52. So we'll see what happens. So again, I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? So let me go over the official odds. The official odds to get the grand prize, all 5 white ball numbers and the red ball number, the odds are 1 in 292 million that you're going to get it correct. Okay, my goal is to get all 5 white balls correct. And the odds are that are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, so another great prize to win would be this 4 white ball numbers and a red ball that pays 50,000 plus the power play, and you can see the odds are just about 1 in a million. Okay, so you can see that the odds are pretty steep, so I just want to give you some perspective that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on a lottery. Okay, so I do have something for the Powerball number itself. There's 26 red numbers in the Powerball lottery. So over here in this column, I just divided those numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, that's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Over here in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens. Okay, so the reason for the colors is that when I see a streak like this of blue, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so you can see that there's a little streak of red right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this is going to be a blue number, which is low. And over here, I think that this is going to stay red. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a low odd number. Okay. So this green thing means that the Powerball repeated itself. You can see that the 3 came up and then it repeated. Okay. So there's nothing sweeter than a repeater. Okay. So in closing, I just want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.